It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Alright, so I'm going ahead and I'm catching up on all the boxing that I missed while I was out traveling. There was a lot of cards that were happening on the same day as cards I was covering. So there were some things I missed, and I gotta say, man, I'm real happy that I went back and I actually went ahead and I watched the Ashton Silva card with Esteban Falcao, because on that undercard, not only do I think we got what I think will be the upset of the year, but I really and truthfully believe that we got the most inspirational story I've heard in boxing for a long time. You know, for all the nonsense we hear with Canelo and who he wants to fight and A side, B side, and Crawford wanting to not fight the guys in his division like Boots Ennis or, you know, any of those kind of things. For all the nonsense we do get in boxing, I live for stories like Julian Quiet Storm Smith. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Julian Quiet Storm Smith is, Julian Quiet Storm Smith is a fighter from the south side of Chicago. He's deaf. He's been deaf pretty much his whole life. And growing up, you know, this is a guy that was ostracized and marginalized by kids and just society in general, because when you're born with disability, people often look at you differently. So he started boxing to show people that deaf people could do it too. And so this is a guy that he was put into a fight on the undercard for Ashton Silva versus Falcao against a very good fighter. I mean, they really try to throw this guy to the wolves. He fought Oretes Velazquez, who I know very well from down here in South Florida. You know, Velazquez is a guy that was a top 10 WBA ranked contender. He had one of the best fights of the year in 2020, I think 2022 or 2021. I want to say it was like 2022. He fought Abram Martinez in a very fun fight. And he was a guy that a lot of people had world title ambitions for. Like, you know, he was big, like most of the Cubans, big, deep amateur background, just really good natural fighting instincts. And so on paper, as the odds would have suggested, and as the odds would have suggested his entire life, Julian Smith was a massive underdog. He was a 14-1 underdog. He was a plus 1,400. And for those of you who don't know betting, if you would have bet $100 on Julian Smith, and he wound up winning the fight, you would have made $1,400 back for every $100 you would have bet. That's how big of an underdog he was against a guy like Velazquez, right? So in the fight, he actually wound up beating this guy up and stopping Velazquez in the 9th round, and he wound up dropping him a couple of times and just beating him up, man. He really just cut him up, and he dished out a serious ass beating to a very, very good fighter. And what an inspirational story. I mean, a lot of people ask me a lot of times, they say BT, they say True School, they say, oh, Brendan, who do you think the face of boxing is? Do you think the face of boxing is Inoue? Do you think the face of boxing is Canelo Alvarez? Do you think the face of boxing is Terrence Crawford? And I oftentimes shoot all that rhetoric down. I shoot down all that talk. But you know what? You know who the face of boxing is, guys? It ain't Terrence Crawford. It ain't Canelo. It ain't Javante Davis. It ain't none of them guys. Face of boxing is that man. It is people like this man right here, Julian Smith, because these are the stories that are what boxing is truly all about. I mean, this is a guy that's been up against it his whole life. He's deaf. I'm sure, you know, I've read the stories in the articles about how kids used to bully him and beat him up in school. You know, his brother, who was a big source of support, RIP to his brother Brandon. He was lost to gun violence in Southside Chicago in 2012. You know, he had that happen to him. He had that tragedy happen in his life. But what did Julian Smith do? He's had everything against him his whole life. His brother dying in the streets, being deaf, people probably looking at him like he's a no good for nothing, just deaf guy, just a peon in society. Because that's how life is. You know, when you're a little bit different or you're not like everyone else, people look down upon you, right? And then they put him in this fight with Orestes Velazquez, one of the top, you know, dangerous guy, really good fighter, and he wins and he scores. For me, don't even ask me what the upset of the year is. That'll be my 2024 upset of the year, because Julian Smith had everything against him. And funny enough, right, I feel kind of bad because apparently I've seen Julian Smith fight live in person because last May 26th, I was out there at the Most Valuable Promotions card when he fought on another Ashton Silva undercard. And that was like, I want to say that was like maybe within a week of me getting back from Japan. I just got back from Japan, so I was burnt out from Japan. I shouldn't even have been at that card, so I wasn't even mentally there when I covered that card. But he fought Kevin Brown, another top higher risk, low reward type of contender from Cuba, and he took him the distance. So he's actually quiet as kept. Even if he wasn't a deaf boxer and didn't have all these things in his life that made him an inspirational story. He's fighting good competition, and he's holding his own, and he's beating guys, and he's upsetting the apple cart. And right now, as it stands, I mean, I can't go off of the rankings because he's not ranked in the rankings, and he's 33 years old, right? So he's no spring chicken as far as age is concerned in boxing. But if I go by the boxer rankings, right, Julian Smith's in an interesting position because he's ranked in and around some really good fighters like 74 is Shojahan Ergashev. 73 is Daniel Zorilla. He's 77, right? So 74 Ergashev, 73 Zorilla, 72 Jeremias Ponce, 70 Zolani Endengeni, who just fought Barbosa, 66 Rashad Mati. I mean, there's guys ranked in and around him. Like he's at that level now where you would think like his next fight, because he beat a top contender like that, he should be getting the call for a really, really good fight here soon. And you know what? Let there be no talk. Let there be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The face of boxing ain't Canelo Alvarez. The face of boxing ain't Terrence Crawford. The face of boxing ain't Gervonta Davis. The face of boxing ain't Naya Inoue. The face of boxing are fighters like Julian Smith. Guys that have everything against them. Guys that really, come from a tough background. And you know what? I'm sure a lot of people have marginalized this guy his whole life. And you know what? I'm kind of holding back tears, honestly, because this is what it's about, man. Like, I go through so much bullshit listening to, like, all the politics of boxing, and it's just so beautiful when you get a story that just shows you that, with hard work, dedication, discipline, unwavering faith in God and yourself, anything's possible. So, listen, I hope Oretes Velazquez can build himself back up. He's a good fighter. I like Oretes Velazquez, but, man, Julian Smith is the upset of the year. And 14-1 to do that to Oretes Velazquez the way he did, I mean, you gotta respect him. Show great counter punching, nice aggression coming forward. He's actually a good fighter. Like, forget him being deaf. He's a good fighter. And I hope people, with me talking about it a little bit here, even if it's a month late, I hope people check out his story and learn about him because it's really inspirational stuff. So shout out to him on a great performance and upsetting. A really good fighter, and I hope Julian Smith gets the opportunity to be in bigger money fights so that he can take care of his family and himself and just get the most out of his career in his life, because he's an inspiration to anybody who's learned his story, including myself. So leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterfield, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.